absolutely ridiculous. They'll believe anything. They'll believe anything. Maybe. Okay, well, we are in for a treat today. There is a really important issue in the world, and Abby has been preparing a whole lot of information for us. So without further ado, please, if you like what we do, give us a like, share, and subscribe. And it is over to Abby.
嗨，请大家帮我们按赞、订阅跟分享，对我来说非常的重要，因为这是一种鼓励。
Nice. So what are we talking about today, Abby?
Okay, I want to ask you a question.
Ah, interesting. All right. Yeah, let's do it.
Just like, as a foreigner, when you arrive Taiwan, or when you want to travel to other countries, what kind of a factor will you care more?
You mean when I first came here?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, when I first came here, I think it was more just for opportunity. I wasn't only planning to come for a year in the beginning, so I thought it would be fun. I'd seen this TV show about Taiwan before, and that really influenced me, and it seemed like a fun place. So I thought, yeah, great.
Oh, okay. And I think if you want to live in a country for a long time or travel to some country, maybe you want to care about their safety. For example, if we all know
actually, definitely. I'd heard that it's fair. I mean, I come from South Africa, right? So it's a pretty dangerous place. So that was also definitely on my list, yeah. I didn't actually know how safe it was until I got you.
You're brave, right?
It's really safe, yeah.
For example, we all know like Russia and Ukraine, they probably have some fights now. So I think basically people were more careful when they want to travel to Ukraine or Russia.
100%.
Yeah, because they're high intensive there.
Yeah.
So I think maybe when foreigners come to Taiwan, they also will pay some attention on that. Because lots of Western media are talking about the high intense between Taiwan and China.
Sure. Do you know, you talked about when I first came here. When I first came here, I don't think many foreigners really knew too much about that. Like when I first came here, it was like people said, "Hey, how's Thailand?" I was like, "Oh, dude, I'm not in Thailand. I'm in Taiwan." Yeah, Thailand. You know, hey, full moon party. Like, it's Taiwan. Like no one knew about Taiwan.
Like a really small country.
But it seems to be quite different now. Like now, I hear more and more people who don't live here, people I talk to overseas, like in America, and so actually bringing up Taiwan, asking questions about Taiwan, possibly the issue you're going to talk about. So
maybe because our relationship with China, or maybe because of our industry, like TSMC. Yeah, just that's what I want to talk about today. It's China and Taiwan's relationship, and lots of media say China may attack Taiwan recently.
I mean, I hear that all the time now.
All the time. But I think around this year, the more and more news happen. We can see, and so I want to talk about this and maybe bring some history from before, so we can get more information to understand what's going on right now. And more important is for Taiwanese, because when I talk with more young generation in Taiwan, maybe under 13, under 30, they don't really understand what's the issue right now. They think it's like a
actually, I have noticed that. Like, if you talk to older people, they seem to know
the details,
some of the history. But then, if I talk to people a bit younger, then they don't. It's not like they'll say things like a year or this. Whereas I know some people who are like kind of my age, and when I talk to them, they're like, "Oh yeah, this and that," and they mention some years and some dates and stuff. And I was like,
important
"Whoa,
event."
Wow, yeah. Whereas the young people just seem to have like a vague idea.
Yeah, and remember there's a girl work for Maya Kerr, and she's a pretty girl. And one time she went to the political talk show.
Okay.
She said our reunification and the independence of Taiwan
is a fake issue.
It's a fake issue. It means that it doesn't really important because it will not happen, or it just it will not moving forward the topics are not really in front of us.
But this issue is quite old, right? I mean, it's been like this for like 72 years or something, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a quite a important topic in Taiwan. So I think at least for more old generation, they have a really deep feeling about this.
Sure. So it is interesting because like I want to move to Portugal with my fiance, and I spoke with her parents, and I said to them, look, we're worried that maybe in the future something might happen with China and Taiwan. So when we have our house on a farm in Portugal, we'll actually have a second house, so you guys will have somewhere to come and stay if things get bad. And they were like, that's never going to happen. That's silly, right? Like, yeah, we know foreigners talk about this, but actually to Taiwanese, this isn't an issue. Like, I was really surprised. I thought, okay, that's not what I've heard from other people, but yeah, that's what they kind of said.
I think for all generation, because they heard this kind of topics for a long time, so they probably feel a little bit tired of that, or just like get used to it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I think for young generation, they are not really understand why lots of people care about this issue. Why this issue is like is a part of our culture. Why we are better to understand this.
Yeah, I think people definitely need to understand it, right? It also just seems to be. It's kind of like do you know there's a story in English we say like the boy who cried wolf. Have you heard this before? So it's like a boy.
Is he caring of the sheep?
He's taking care of the sheep, and then he comes and shouts, "Wolf, wolf!" and everybody rushes to come and help him. And then, but actually, he was lying, and he does it like 2 or 3 times. And then the one time a wolf really comes, and then no one comes to help him. And maybe that's kind of a similar thing, as people like the threat has been there for a long time, and people kind of got worried, and nothing ever really happened. So they think nothing will happen. But that's dangerous thinking, I think.
Because you gonna, I think people will be so comfortable. They are not prepared of this thing.
Yeah, and then also if you look at the military, I know that they've stopped conscription, so it's not everybody needs to go to the military now, right?
Yes.
So it seems to be a strange point of time to be doing that when the threat level seems to be increasing, just from what I've seen. So it's a bit of an odd time to be doing that. But so, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So what are you going to show us?
Yeah. So I think it's better to explain the history, the background a little bit, like why China and Taiwan separated, and why we have the kind of a complex relationship.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So maybe just back very before, like when World War II just end, at the time, China is ruled by the national 中华民国.
The KMT.
KMT, yeah.
Okay.
So
the KMT is the political party in Taiwan now, right? Yeah, not the ruling party, but they are a party. Yeah.
Yeah, a political party.
So they actually came from China.
They came from China because at the time they ruled the China, but they have some civil war with the Communist Party, with 共产党. They fight for many years and they lose. So they have to like retreat to Taiwan. Yeah.
Didn't they also bring like a lot of art with them when they came to Taiwan?
Art?
Yeah, like famous Chinese art. Like I've heard that Chiang Kai-shek Memorial Hall and the one over here, Sun Yat-sen Memorial Hall, are both full of art that all came from China. Apparently it's like a huge collection of famous Chinese art is all kept in Taiwan because they brought it with them. Yeah, useless information. I heard that. Because I've been there, and I saw that, like they even have like the guy's car and all sorts of things, right?
The old stuff.
Yeah, lots of old stuff. Yeah.
Pretender, they don't bring. Okay. All right. So, so when they back to Taiwan, they still plan for fighting back.
What do you mean?
They still want to go back to China.
They want to like regroup, rearm, and back there and
go
fight
back,
again.
Fight again. Anyway, But
so that's almost like the opposite of now. They were threatening to invade China.
they're trying to go back right now. But before they say, oh, we have to fight back. We have to get our power back, our land back. But also the Communist Party also feel that is a threat in Taiwan.
Okay.
So they have fight. So China and Taiwan have some fight before, very serious fight. So, for example, if you are China at a time, if you want to attack Taiwan, which part you would like to attack first?
Which part of Taiwan?
Yeah.
You mean which part of the island?
Just yeah, or just like if you want, you know there's a threat in Taiwan and you want to attack them. You want to
probably attack the capital, right? Well, was the capital now is Taipei, but it used to be Tainan before, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So they would have probably wanted to attack Tainan then.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that's a good idea. Like a
in Taiwan, Tainan is like southwest of the island for people who don't know, and Taipei is at the top.
Yeah, the top.
Okay.
But at a time, China attacked Taiwan twice.
Oh, they already attacked.
Yeah. So before now, it's already like 3 times have the crisis. China tried to attack Taiwan or threaten Taiwan.
So you're saying 3 times they actually tried to attack or they threatened to attack?
Okay, they really attacked Taiwan for twice.
Oh wow. Okay.
And the 3rd time is more like a threat. We're gonna introduce later.
Okay. So when were these 2 times? Oh wait, I can see it there. The year 38 and the year 47. So again, for people who don't know Taiwan, we're like the year 111 this year, right, in Taiwan. What year? It's 111 this year, right?
111, yeah.
Yeah, last year was 110. This year is 111.
Yeah, this is 111.
So it's very interesting. Yeah, for
so
people
I
who
have
don't know.
translated.
So
actually, for the Western year, it's 1949.
Yeah, okay.
And 1948. So
58.
1958.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can see this is China and this is Kinmen. This is part of Taiwan as well. And because it's really close to the China.
It's really strange that like a part of Taiwan is right
it's
there.
Right over there, right?
Right next to China. It's a bit bizarre. But
it's so weird. Yeah, there's also another one.
Yeah. How do you protect that place? Like, I mean, China wanted Jingmen. I mean, it'd be so easy, right?
Yeah, they fight many times. They just. So I can see. Maybe there is some more close. Yeah, just the gray one is China, and this color, the red color, is Kinmen. So they fight. I think.
How big is this Kinmen? Is it a big island or a small island?
I think it's a small island.
Okay.
Because
it looks pretty big on the map here, but actually it's probably pretty small.
Yeah, you can see another one. Can I go back? No. This one. It's a really small.
Tiny,
yeah,
okay,
compared to Taiwan. This is a really small place.
Okay.
But at least it's for the 823炮战, this 1958 attack. The attack is continuous for a month. They have lots of missiles or bomb in Kinmen at the time.
So let me get this straight. So a tiny little island near China is owned by Taiwan, and they fought for a month and they couldn't take that small little island?
They still defended themselves and attack for months. I think it's very...
That's what I always say to people. It's not easy to take an island. It's the same thing as if you are on the top of a hill, it's a good place to kind of defend because you're looking down. It isn't easy. You lose a lot of people. So they couldn't take that tiny little island.
For me, it's a surprise because China is so big, but they couldn't really attack the little island.
It reminds me of that story 300.
Oh.
Because you had the right kind of terrain, and then a small amount of people could defend against a large army. Okay.
So maybe at a time, China's strategy is more like threaten to them, not really take off them.
Okay.
But there's a fun fact. Kinmen is very famous of their knife, the 菜刀, you know.
Oh, really? Okay, so they're famous for knife making?
Knife, because they make the knife from the bomb, the missile.
Oh, wow.
They have lots of missile at the time, and they use this for a knife. So they're famous.
So they use the metal from the missiles to make knives.
Yes.
That's pretty cool. All right.
Okay.
So that's the first 2 times they try to attack Taiwan. So they didn't really attack Taiwan. They attacked.
They don't
Jingmen.
really attack the mainland. They
Okay.
only attack the small island.
Okay.
Yes.
And then the third time
The third time
is just a threat, or is that coming later?
it's coming later, but it's a threat.
Okay, so there was 1949. That was just when the Civil War ended, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and then 1958 was so it's like 11 years later or something.
They
like
wait
that.
for 9 years and
9 years later.
9
okay.
years.
Okay, and then what happened next?
The next, because before because KMT come to Taiwan, and they are becoming the ruling party of the Taiwan. They and the president is always there in the family, in the royal family. Chiang Kai-shek and Jiang Jingguo. Jiang Jingguo is there.
Chiang Kai-shek and them were royals?
Chiang Kai-shek Chiang Kai-shek is the first president that came from China, and his son take his position, Jiang Jingguo.
Interesting. My ex-wife's father knew Chiang Kai-shek.
Whoa.
Yeah, he told me about it when he was still alive.
Wow.
Yeah, he used to show me all of his army stuff, and I think he was like a general.
He's a part of the military.
I think so, yeah.
So very close to the ruling party.
Yeah, he also showed me all these black and white pictures and stuff when I used to go visit.
Maybe proud of the...
He was very proud, yeah. And he loved America too for some reason. He was
and that time, as I think because normally I think the power will remain under the royal party, right? But Chiang Kai-shek make a decision. They try to make this position to Li Denghui.
Okay.
Li Denghui is not the part of the royal family. Okay. And more interesting is that Li Denghui is like a local Taiwanese people.
Okay.
What's the difference? Is like a Taiwan?
So they gave him power?
Because
he was like president or something, or
yeah, he's gonna be the president.
Okay, he's going to be.
He's going to be the president. At the time, he's like a vice president, but when the president died, he just become the president.
Okay.
Which is very interesting because Taiwan at the time have a social class. For the people who come from China. We call them 外省人.
Okay. Why is like foreign, like white.
Why like a out.
Yeah. That's like for foreigners. We call us 外国人. It's also the Y, right? Okay.
For 本省人, it means like the people who grow up in Taiwan. They are the resident in Taiwan before 1949. Okay. So Li Denghui is the resident of
so he was like a native Taiwanese.
Yeah, he's a native Taiwanese.
I see. Okay. So it's a big deal for him to become the leader, right?
Yeah, it's a very different.
And when was that?
I don't quite remember when he's become the president, but when he become the president, he also Li Denghui also make a big decision. Like he want to make the president election to the citizen.
So you want a democracy?
Become democracy. Before, it's all the parties controlled by the government.
Okay, so then this must have been during the martial law time.
Yeah, it's during the martial law.
Okay.
No, it's already after the martial law.
Oh, it's after martial law.
After the martial law. Martial law is ended. So it's around 1995 to 1996.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. Okay.
He's going to elect president, and he even go to the Cornell University to make a speech. That is in Li Denghui.
So that's the native Taiwanese guy.
Yeah.
Who was the vice president, who then became the president.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And because he made some very big movement, very big event, like a visit United States, and also try to make Taiwan become democracy. So all this movement is a threat to China.
And wasn't like Chiang Kai-shek also friends with America, or not?
No, I'm not.
Not sure. I think that like a lot of the time they were, because I think I saw that the big car, Chiang Kai-shek's, it was a huge big black American car. So I think that that Taiwan was friendly, like, or was maybe the KMT government was friendly with America, right?
Yeah.
Because my ex-wife's father, the dude loved America. Okay. He showed pictures. He thought America, so it was fantastic, right?
Oh yeah. Before like Taiwan and America has friend. I say the diplomacy is really close.
Yeah. Because at that time, China was on Taiwan. Like, Taiwan was China, right? That's why Taiwan is Republic of China, ROC. So it wasn't at that time America like recognized Taiwan as China. I think so. Yeah, I think so, because I think that it changed later when they had the some kind of an agreement, the One China policy. But before that, Taiwan was China. That's why it's ROC, isn't it?
Yeah, they think they probably they recognize Taiwan
as China, yeah.
But the Communist Party they try to fight. Yeah. They become stronger, and America want to make friends with them.
Make friends with China,
so they just
cut
the relationship.
They shifted the recognition from Taiwan being China to China being China now.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Good. All right. So then what? So what happened after like 1995?
Yeah, because of.
So this was 95, right here.
It's 1995.
Okay.
So after this kind of big movement, the Beijing is very angry, so they try to separate Taiwan.
Okay.
They use they do some missile test.
Okay.
So the missile comes to the Kaohsiung and Keelung, the ocean near Kaohsiung and Keelung.
I've heard about this. They the missiles went into the sea, right? They didn't actually hit Taiwan. Yeah, I've heard about that.
They say, they are practice, but it's kind of threat to let Taiwanese know we can hit you very close to your big port. And they also do some amphibious force practice.
The amphibious landing.
Amphibious practice during around the Kinmen, LSI, Fujian. So
also a threat, saying, look what we can do.
Yeah, what we can do this. At the time, it's very intensive, and America tried to help us.
So that was the time of Clinton, wasn't it?
Bill Clinton, their president, Bill
95.
Clinton.
Okay.
I can make the decision very quick. So they call for like 2 aircraft carriers to the Taiwan Strait to show the military muscle to China. See how
So
big.
I think for people who don't know, the Taiwan Strait is a small piece of sea between Taiwan and China, right? I think it's like 100 miles around, I think. I think the distance. It's about 100 miles between the two. Okay.
Yeah. So
that 2 aircraft carriers went into the Taiwan Strait between Taiwan and China.
Yeah, they went to here. And
at that time, like 95, like China didn't have a big army, right?
You can see that China's big. Their aircraft freight.
Dude, it's an American aircraft carrier, right?
No.
So that's one of the aircraft carriers that went up the strait?
That is a China's one. And it's like a much smaller than the America's one.
Okay. So but that looks a little like an American one, I think. Did China have aircraft carriers at that time? I'm not sure if they had aircraft carriers. So I know that I think that putting the 2 carriers there would have really scared China, right?
Because China really see how powerful America is.
Yeah.
They know if they fight, they'll lose.
Yeah. So it was like a threat. So if you don't leave Taiwan alone, you're going to have a problem. Okay.
Yeah. So before like now, we have this kind of Taiwan and China strait crisis for 3 times, and I think this one in 1996 is it very close?
Yeah, I
For
mean,
us,
that's like 11 years before I came to Taiwan, so that's really close, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I came in 2007, so that's pretty close. 11 years is nothing, right?
Yeah, especially like China is more powerful and more rich now, so they even put more money to their military to make it grow. So we don't know if they
really have put a lot of money. If you see how many new ships they're building at the moment, like, and also the speed that they complete the ships is insane compared to like how long it takes America to produce one new ship. I think it takes China like half or even less the time. Because you see, sometimes I see some of the satellite images that they take from space looking down, and they can see because these things are so big, they can see what's being built. And I mean, they're building 2 or 3 at the same time, and they're just getting them. And actually, I think that China has more ships than America. I think the quality of the American ships, I think, is still better. But I think that China's, the amount of ships, the number of ships is higher than America in their navy.
Yes.
Which is crazy, right?
Yeah. And so there's a poll from Taiwan. They asked Taiwanese if we're gonna have a war. Would you willing to protect Taiwan and join the military? We can see this is the right side. It say if China attacked Taiwan for the reunification, would you willing for a fight for Taiwan?
Who they asking that to? You mean to Taiwanese people?
Yeah, they ask for Taiwanese people. It's a kind of a democracy foundation.
Okay.
Ask for Taiwanese. This color is under 39, and the more dark one is over 40.
Okay. So the older people are less interested in defending Taiwan.
A little bit, but
just
I don't.
A little,
just a little
like
bit, just a
4%,
little
right?
bit.
Okay.
Yeah. But you still can see if there's some around 30% of people. Not quite sure.
Okay. And what's the green?
The green one is if the background is different. If Taiwan announce their independence and trigger China to attack Taiwan.
Okay.
The scenario is different a little bit.
So what would you support? You mean?
Yeah. Like
or would you fight?
If there is the kind of reason, would you support?
Support means fight or just
fight.
Okay.
Fight.
Okay, so actually it's pretty interesting. So the young people, it's pretty much almost the same.
Yeah, I think because young people, they when they grow up in they're
Taiwanese,
in Taiwan.
Yeah.
But for the old people, some of them are come from China. So for them, China is their hometown. It's a quite complex emotion between them.
Sure. And I've read about this. They say that because they do these studies a lot, the amount of people who identify as Taiwanese rather than Chinese, that number has been growing. So people don't think of themselves as Chinese. I think the older people still feel they are Chinese, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
They also think if we really have fight, the question is, if we really have fight, which country do you think they're gonna provide the support? So people always think, America. The first one is America.
So what's the difference with the red and the blue?
Oh,
I see it there. I see it's
time.
Is
the date?
Okay.
Timeline is different.
So more people think America now than a year ago.
Yeah.
And more people think Japan. And now.
Because I think Japan makes some announcement recently.
They did, yes. I think they said. I think that for Japan, it's kind of like if China took Taiwan, that would be a threat to them.
To Japan.
Yeah.
So they have to fight. If they don't do that, they will be the next, under the threat.
And what's this one?
Australia.
Oh, yes, I know that.
Yeah. So it's the AUKUS Union.
Yes.
America, Japan, Australia.
And under that?
Korea, South Korea, I think.
Okay. And then under that?
There's people think, they both provide support. The both of the those four
all the
countries,
four.
all the
I
four.
see. And then here?
None of them gonna provide support, and that is others.
Interesting. So
some
most of the time people think that it's more likely to get support now than like a year ago.
So I think like right now in Taiwan, you're like we have to lean on some big power country. Either you lean on China or you lean on America. You choose one of them. No.
Yeah. Do you know what? Actually, I don't really too much agree with a lot of that though. Like you just talked about Kingman. And how they had those little fights, and how it actually is pretty difficult to take an island.
An island, right?
So I mean, I think these days people play a lot of video games, you know, and they think of fighting like they just see it on the screen and stuff. It's not easy to take an island, right? Like another video I was watching recently was talking about why the First World War really ended. And actually, a lot of the time, the soldiers just said, no, we're not interested, right? Like they were like rebelling.
Oh, they don't want to join
and they don't like to put this in the history books as much. They just say, oh, Britain and France won the First World War. They don't exactly explain how it worked, but it seemed like people on both sides, soldiers, were saying no, they don't want to fight and stuff. So a lot of people have family in Taiwan who are in China. So
maybe they still maybe the soldier in China, they also want to survive. They also want to
sure.
They have the family to take care of.
But they're also killing other Chinese people who came from China before. And even if you forget that, it's just really difficult and long. I see people saying, oh, they could do it in 3 days. Yeah, come on. Like, how would you take an island? I mean, sure, maybe you could land a few people, like drop them out of airplanes and land them here. But how would you take and then hold the island? That is another issue, right?
There's something for more information, you can figure out it's not really easy.
No, not at all, right? And especially because the size of the island, and there are only certain places they could land. And when they were preparing to cross the Taiwan Strait, people would see them coming. It's not easy to do a surprise attack from 100 miles away.
Yeah.
And then there's logistics. How do you feed all the soldiers and the sailors? How do you get fuel? How do you get the airplanes refueled? How do you get the ammunition to be restocked? And then if you got onto the island, I think they said Taiwan would bomb some of the bridges. And Taiwan, I mean, if people haven't been here, right, Taiwan is full of dense jungle forest, right? It's not easy to get through that, especially if the roads have been broken or the bridges have been broken.
And maybe there's only some ports that of them can some ports of Taiwan that they can easily to like landing.
Yeah, I think there are very few.
Not too much.
And those have been actually fortified over the years.
45?
Yeah, so like they've strengthened them. So I mean, because the government in Taiwan obviously knows where they would land, so a lot
they
of
can
the
prepare.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
when they come in, they can just shoot them waiting for them. So,
and once you have thousands of Chinese soldiers dying, what happens to their morale? What happens to the motivation to keep fighting?
Their
That's
their
hard.
attitude and probably your mindset gonna change.
So I think people oversimplify this partly because of video games, but it isn't that easy to do.
So I think maybe China also think it's not easy, take too much effort. So
that's why they haven't done it yet. If
they haven't done because
they would have done it.
Yeah. So I think they probably before they use another strategy, just economic to invade Taiwan. Because after the Cultural Revolution, Deng Xiaoping become the president of the China, and he opened the board. They allow the foreign investment to come to China. I think at that time, some Taiwanese also come to China and to do some business out there.
I've heard a lot of the factories that used to produce the more lower end kind of products actually moved to China, kind of like globalization. Yeah. That's why a lot of the businessmen here have factories in China, right?
Yeah, because before Taiwan is really poor, but after we do the manufacturing, we provide some really low label, like
low
very
value
simple
added products.
low value products, and really cheap. But according that we earn lots of money. At the time, it's like a regular like a how to say, the phenomenon, like the label payment, label salary is gonna rising. So at the time,
this is when, sorry to interrupt, but that's when like Taiwan started getting into like tech and other kinds of industries, right? And that's why they sent some of those lower value added product kind of jobs to China, because the labor was cheaper there, right?
Yeah.
And it wasn't really feasible to do those kind of jobs in Taiwan.
Yeah, so they want to like they think, oh, China have some large, more cheap labor, so they move to China.
So Taiwan did it before America did it. Sent the factories to China.
Right? Yeah. This kind of like Japan and German also have the same style. They also provide really low, very low end products, but at some certain moment they have to like turn the style. They have to provide like high value, high quality products.
And you got to find someone else to produce your low.
Yeah, you have to transform it.
But the same thing's happening now, like with Indonesia and Vietnam. Things are moving out of China into those countries for the cheap labor.
So the Vietnam and India is like the next China.
Yeah.
Things like that. Yeah. But I think so the kind of economic makes the Taiwan and Chinese relationships more intertwined to each other. Because those people are just do some business there.
Okay. Well, it was very interesting. Yeah, I think I definitely learned. You filled in a lot of the gaps for me. I mean, I've lived here for 15 years, so obviously I already know some of these things, but I think you definitely filled in a lot of the holes for me. So I hope people at home enjoyed that, right?
So maybe next time we can talk more about is the war is practical,
feasible,
so more real for the situation now. So we can talk more information about that.
Sure, that I already follow quite a lot, so I'm sure we can have a good discussion about that. Right? So big thank you to Abby for that. There was a lot of work doing that research, so thank you very much. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, please give us a like, a share. Hit that like button. It really helps us a lot, and we can keep providing content for you. So
或是你们有什么资料想要补充的话，也可以在底下留言哦。
Okay, cool. So we'll be back with another segment shortly.
Yeah.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.